Hello, everybody, and welcome to the May edition of the EPALE Newscast. Happy Labour Day for the 1st of May. I hope you all took some time to relax and recuperate on that special day. Let's start with some news from the EU. In April, the Belgian presidency of the Council of the European Union held two Milestone Conferences. The high-level event on the future of the European Pillar of Social Rights took place on the 16th and 17th of April in La Hulpe near Brussels. And they resulted in La Hulpe Declaration, and that has several references to skills. And I thought I'd pull a few interesting points out just to share with you. So it says the phrase, "The pillar shall serve as our compass for fostering a fair transition, ensuring that no one is left behind." The declaration also says, "In light of the widespread labour shortages and skills mismatches affecting all our member states, further actions promoting a mindset of lifelong learning are needed, in line with the Barcelona Tripartite Statement. The right to quality and inclusive education, training, and lifelong learning, as set out in the Principle 1 of the European Pillar of Social Rights, is essential to help all working, unemployed, and inactive people, and upholding this right requires action. More specifically, we underline the importance of innovative and quality education and training for all. We welcome the momentum created by the European Year of Skills, and we commit to keeping skills as a policy priority and to updating the skills agenda." So that's a great quote from them. And another quote I wanted to pull out was, "We stress the need to continue the work for a common understanding of social investment. We need to fully exploit the potential of skills, labour market and social policies for economic growth, productivity and competitiveness." And the final point I wanted to pull out for you was, "We stress the need to recognise skills and qualifications within the EU in an interoperable way, including those of third country nationals. We take note of the action plan on labour and skills shortages in the EU. Further steps at the EU and national level involving social partners are needed for its implementation." So as you can see, skills were very clear in that. In the same week, the Belgian presidency had a conference on lifelong learning that took place in Brussels. With the involvement of education stakeholders, the conference was heavily focused on adult learning and education, establishing principles for renewed synergies between the education sectors. And if you want to understand how continuous learning, workplace learning, and professional development come together, check out the results of that discussion. Now, the final day of the European Year of Skills is in a few days. The year-long effort is highlighted through the Real People, Real Stories campaign. The European Year of Skills will have a long-lasting legacy, paving the way for a more harmonised skills ecosystem on the continent, and we'll hear more about this with our guest later today. Just some brief news from the EPALE community. Have you already heard the latest podcast on EPALE? It was on Greener Horizons, exploring the power of sustainable and green skills. Do give it a listen, it's well worth it. And the European Parliament has now held their last session of this mandate. Now the countdown begins to the elections, which will give us a whole new set of MEPs. So don't miss out on our informative banner on our homepage. And to get you in the mood, we suggest that you could read the article by Sally Reynolds, who's the Chief Operational Officer of the Media and Learning Association. Her article is on media literacy and the run-up to the European elections. The 15th of May is approaching fast, so do get ready for the next EPALE online discussion on navigating artificial intelligence in contemporary society. The 2024 EPALE Community Stories Initiatives has recently been launched. Have you already shared your story? We'd love to hear from you. And now I'd like to introduce my special guest. Joining me today is Kristīne Krivmane, who is the team leader for the European Year of Skills at the European Commission in DG Employment, Social Affairs and Inclusion. So we're coming to the end of the European Year of Skills. Can you tell me some of the highlights of the past 12 months?
Thank you, and hello Tamsin, and hello EPALE community. Honored and very, very joyed to be here with you today. Highlights. I think this year has been one big highlight, and definitely a great year for skills that we haven't seen for a long time. But let me tell you some highlights. So the first, perhaps, is that skills is now in the spotlight. Skills is recognized as a transversal strategic asset, and we have seen it very, very clearly in EU policy making. 190 EU-led policy initiatives and actions having a strong skills component. This is really not seen before, starting from the Green Deal industrial plan and going to the skills and talent mobility package. So really, there is no key policy initiatives these days does not have focus on skills. And we are very, very happy for that. Then perhaps another highlight is our stakeholders. We knew that we have amazing stakeholders, but we didn't know that they are that amazing. And this is also a good moment for me to thank EPALE community for being absolutely great ambassadors for the year, for your events, for your communication campaign, for thematic focuses. We really felt your support. And we are blessed with stakeholders, education and training providers, social partners, businesses. Everyone was really in this together. Together across Europe, there have been 2,000 events on skills. This is a huge, huge number. But most importantly, we really felt that stakeholders own the year. And another stakeholder group that I would really like to mention is national coordinators. We asked member states to nominate national coordinators, 39 countries, so member states, also candidate countries did. And this was an amazing network. They came from different angles. We managed to break silos. We had education and labor working together with economy. They came from different levels. There were ministries, we had public employment services, we had agencies, skills councils. But it was they were very, very committed. They really shaped and found, good ways to implement the year in the countries. And they also were very committed to mutually share and learn from each other through the meetings we held. So this is highlight number 2. And then highlight number 3 for me, I think, is definitely people. We aim to reach people, but it's notoriously difficult to reach people from Brussels. But I think we've succeeded with the communication campaign, which has great numbers, but also with our great project to which EPALE contributed as well, the Real People, Real Skills. We have these 200 inspirational stories, people coming from different countries in Europe, from different walks of life, different sectors. There is one thing in common: skills have changed their lives. It's really amazing. If you haven't yet visited this beautiful collection, I really ask you to do so. And you'll read about Aline from Belgium, who's after a decade in a comfortable job, changed her career, much to surprise of her family, quitting a good job, went into coding, is now into digital, and is very, very happy about this. About Barry in Ireland, when his business folded, he had no formal qualifications, so he went on a computer course, and as he progressed, he found his calling into teaching. Or about Sylvia from Poland, running a bakery with 100 years tradition, inherited from her great-grandfather, modernizing, training herself and training her staff. So amazing. This is the Europe we think at its best. So these are the highlights, Tamsin.
Thank you very much. It really sounds like a very special set of stories. And you know that we love stories in the EPALE community with our Community Story Initiative. So our focus is very much around the whole area of lifelong learning. So can you tell me, in that broader context of skills and training, how visible was adult learning?
Very. Very visible, yeah, definitely. You know that we focused a lot on bringing people with skills to labor market. Of course, we know that skills are important in one's life. I'd like to mention perhaps two initiatives that we actually the year helped pushing. We say that it helped pushing the whole skills agenda, but let me just speak about two really for adults. And one is the individual learning accounts that in EPALE community implementing a council recommendation, but we really progressed this year. And we have now about half of member states who are actually investing EU money to develop or to pilot or to improve their individual learning schemes. Again, we provided a mutual learning program, and there was one successful year, and we are in year number 2. So this is why we are doing this. Is of course, ILS is a great tool to empower people to train continuously. And then perhaps another example about our Pact for Skills. So this big initiative, which is a partnership initiative, the way to also engage stakeholders, different stakeholders, businesses, social partners, education training providers. And Pact has gone from strength to strength, really, and we saw a big leap in the year. We have now 20 large-scale partnerships in all industrial ecosystems, and 2,500 members. But these figures would not make sense if the Pact would not be functioning on the ground, and it actually does. And from the survey that we did, we see that Pact has already trained 3.5 million people in Europe. So this is how visible adult learning is.
Wow, that's a lot of people who've been reached and touched by the program. That's fantastic to hear. And just as a final point, what do you hope is the lasting legacy of the European skills?
Well, we hope the skills will stay in the spotlight continuously, forever. As one stakeholder told me in an event recently, the ball is rolling. So this is number one. We hope the strategic partnerships that we have founded or developed will continue, and that partners will work breaking silos, will work with social partners, will work with national administration. This is very, very important. And then we also hope that stakeholders will stay faithful to this adventure, because of course the challenges are enormous. We can only do it if we do it all together. And then at the end of the day, of course, there is no immediate causality, but we really hope that, why are we doing this? We are doing this to empower people so that people train continuously, and that we could see impact of all this big work in this target, the headline target of 60%, which has been set by our leaders, also getting closer to this. There's still a lot of journey to reach that, but this would be our hope.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Kristīne, for sharing with us some of the highlights of the European Year of Skills. And let's hope that legacy continues. I was really inspired to see that strong message in the La Hope Declaration, where the minister said, we commit to making skills a priority for the future. That was brilliant. So thank you very much for joining us today, Kristīne.
Thank you, Tamsin.
Thank you. I'm going to wrap up by reminding you not to miss out on seeing you yourself featured in the EPALE Community Storybook, which is an official publication of the European Union. So you too could be part of those wonderful campaigns that Kristīne shared with us. That's all the news I have for today. So look forward to seeing you in June next month. Goodbye from Brussels.